Ancient Greece, a world lacking modern comforts and conveniences. Apart from the obvious challenges like no electricity, sanitation, no gas, and water supply to homes, no air conditioning, no cars, or even sunscreen, there were also some cruel and unforgiving aspects that would test even the strongest among us. Alright, let's dive into why you wouldn't stand a chance in ancient Greece. The hazards of warfare. Picture this. You're an average person in ancient Greece, going about your daily life of farming or working to make ends meet. Suddenly, the call to arms reverberates throughout the city. You have no choice but to become a reluctant warrior, joining the ranks of citizen soldiers thrust into the chaos of battle. It's like being handed a spear and a shield with a sarcastic, "Good luck." These battles weren't fought by trained professionals. Nope. It was you and your fellow commoners flailing around, hoping for the best. In the scorching summer heat, you'd charge into combat, swinging your makeshift weapon and praying you wouldn't trip over your own feet. And guess what? You had to bring your own gear. If you were broke, tough luck. You'd be thrown into battle with nothing but your tattered clothes and a prayer. If you were slightly better off, you could scrape together enough silver coins to buy some armor, or maybe inherit it from your family. So if you think you'd survive in ancient Greece, think again. They'd throw you into the fight like a lamb to the slaughter, expecting you to come out unscathed. Dark side of democracy and justice. Justice in ancient Athens. The Greek and their love for democracy. But boy, did they push the boundaries at times. Picture this. You're a poor bloke who steals a loaf of bread to feed your hungry belly. Now, in a fair and just society, you might expect a slap on the wrist or a stern talking to. But not in ancient Athens, my friends. Under the draconian laws, stealing that loaf of bread would earn you a punishment that's way out of proportion. They'd give you a death sentence, or, on a good day, a friendly amputation. But it gets worse. Inequality and manipulation plagued the legal system. If you were a well-connected aristocrat, you could bend the rules faster than a contortionist at the Olympic Games. Justice was often just a game played by the privileged few. And let's not forget the Mytilean debate. During the Peloponnesian War, the city-state of Mytilene tried to break free from Athenian influence. Their revolt failed, and the Athenians were livid. In a fit of fury, they decided to kill not only the prisoners, but the entire adult male population of Mytilene. Democracy with its pros and cons indeed. So if you think you'd fare well in ancient Athens' legal system, think again. The harsh reality of slavery. In the unforgiving world of ancient Greece, slavery was as common as the Mediterranean sunshine. Picture this. You're a hard-working individual, minding your own business, when suddenly your ancient Greek neighbor decides he needs some extra cash. What does he do? He could simply march you down to the market and put you up for sale. Yeah, that's right. You become a hot commodity, just like olives or pottery. Slavery was no joke in ancient Greece. Different city-states had their own unique take on this peculiar institution. In Athens, slaves were subject to harsh treatment, serving as mere property with limited rights. Meanwhile, in the warrior society of Sparta, slaves were known as helots and were treated as a vital part of the state's economy, yet faced their own set of challenges. So imagine walking in the shoes of a slave in ancient Greece. It's not exactly a dream vacation, is it? Facing deadly diseases. In ancient Greek cities, life could take a dramatic turn with the arrival of a ruthless epidemic. You're going about your daily business when suddenly an invisible enemy strikes. It's not a mythical creature or a wrathful god, but a deadly disease wreaking havoc on your beloved city. No vaccines, no modern medicine, just your immune system and a prayer to mighty Zeus. One of the most infamous outbreaks occurred in Athens during the Peloponnesian War around 430 BC. Known as the Plague of Athens, this merciless disease killed 1/3 of the population, including the revered Pericles himself. The culprit? Scholars suspect it must have been a form of typhoid fever or even smallpox. Throughout ancient Greek history, numerous epidemics ravaged the population, leaving no one untouched. From the Antonine Plague in the 2nd century AD, believed to be smallpox or measles, to the devastating Justinian Plague. The high price of beauty. This one is for our female audience. Imagine you're a Greek woman in the 5th century BC, aiming for flawless skin and a radiant glow. To achieve this, you turn to the ever-popular Cerus, a cosmetic concoction made from white lead and vinegar. Little did you know that this seemingly magical potion carried a toxic secret. In the quest for that coveted pale complexion, women like you would apply Cerus to their faces. It did create an illusion of beauty, but behind the scenes, it wreaked havoc on your health. That's right, the very ingredient meant to enhance your appearance could also lead to abdominal pain, muscle weakness, or even madness. And the dangers didn't end there. Greek women were not ones to shy away from dramatic eye makeup. They used a product called kohl, made from crushed minerals like galena. It was a surefire way to make their eyes pop with allure. But this enchanting practice came with a price. Lead accumulation, eye infections, vision problems, and irreversible damage. Who knew looking fabulous could be such a risky business? The stern Spartan upbringing. The Spartan childhood, where toughness and discipline reigned supreme. In ancient Greece, no one had it quite as challenging as the young Spartans. Picture this. You're a Spartan boy, raised under the watchful eye of your father until the year 478 BC when you turn 7. But at that point, you bid farewell to the comforts of home and embark on a journey to the state-run military camp known as the Agoge. It was Lycurgus, the legendary Spartan lawmaker, who first established this rigorous system to shape young Spartans into formidable soldiers. For the next grueling years, until around 450 BC, you would undergo intense training in the Agoge, located in the city-state of Sparta. There, under the watchful guidance of the experienced warriors and instructors called paidomos, you would be pushed to your limits. Endurance, combat skills, and discipline would be your daily bread, all in preparation for the defense and glory of Sparta. The Spartan concept of eugenics meant that weak or deformed infants were left exposed on Mount Taygetus. This practice ensured that only the strongest and most capable would survive to become Spartans, while others would face death. Forget about lavish meals. The Spartan diet was deliberately Spartan, aiming to toughen you up and teach you resilience. Known as the black broth, it consisted of a simple blend of pork, blood, vinegar, and salt. While other Greek children learned a range of subjects, such as music and mathematics, your studies would focus primarily on military tactics and physical prowess. And let's not forget the Spartan girls. In the city-state of Sparta, girls received a unique education that set them apart from their counterparts elsewhere in Greece. It was in Sparta that Queen Gorgo, wife of King Leonidas I, famously asserted her power and influence, exemplifying the strength and dignity of Spartan women. The disturbing pederasty. Ancient Greece had some peculiar customs, and one of the more eyebrow-raising ones was pederasty. Yes, you heard that right. It was actually encouraged and celebrated. The Cretans, always thinking outside the box, came up with a special ritual. A man would kidnap a boy, with the father's permission, mind you, and whisk him away to the wilderness for some grown-up adventures. Hunting, feasting, and sharing the bed, they would return home as comrades, living together. Now here's the twist. The boy had the power to either continue the relationship or call out any misbehaviors, which was probably the lightest punishment for sexual abuse in history. Believe it or not, this practice wasn't limited to Crete. Athens, Sparta, and Thebes joined the party too. Talk about some unconventional bonding experiences. Can you imagine the holiday postcards they sent? Having a wild time with my comrade, wish you were here. It became abundantly clear that surviving a day in that time period would be quite the challenge. Let's just say we're lucky to be living in the modern era, where things are a bit different.